The 4th Pass King Future Queen Tempest Trials is underway, and we got another preview of a probably playable future unit. I don't know if the data might determine what type of unit this new Dagr is, but if she's an aided hero, then does that mean we get her bird? Also, why did it turn Super Saiyan? Now, this art has some amazing artwork, like good lord. With some of the Jotunheimer respondent outfits, I've always thought a Fire Emblem with a Roman gladiator type setting would be fun. This alt only further solidifies that belief. Now, as a unit, the new Dagr is a sword infantry with the usual high speed, higher defense than res stat focus. Like her last alt, I'm expecting Pathfinder to return on her unique B skill, and I assume she's going to share it with at least one of her teammates again. From her new sword, Dagr grants +6 attack and speed, and no follow-up to allies within 3 rows or 3 columns. Long range buffing is always nice. Dagr would then once again be focused on field buffs because she gains true damage and flat damage reduction based on the total highest field buffs on Dagr or her allies in that buffing range. The flat DR will be 50% of the total, but against specials, this will double, so essentially it's just the full total. Dagr also gains up to +14 doll stats if 3 allies are in her buffing range, plus she neutralizes stat debuffs on herself. For cooldown, Dagr has slang and no guard. While Dagr wants to be fully buffed up, she can borrow from her allies, so a defense res team buffer will be good to have. 8th Nair will also just give +3 to all field buffs. Like her mythic ult, Dagr should just be a solid all-around infantry unit. If you want no follow-up or attack and speed buffs, then she's a great ally. We'll see just how crazy the Pathfinder sharing will be, and I'm sure like the Tempest Trials boss version, things like Gust will be suit her well. Nothing confirmed, but new Dagr will most likely appear with the next New Heroes banner later this month. We still got a good amount of FEHs that still need to be released between the Book 5 side plot and Book 8 Quieting Hands. Better start planning your orb savings. Onto the rewards for this event. As per usual, score a maximum 50,000 points for up to 42 orbs, 11,000 feathers, and 80 secret coins. This month we got Ephemera 10 divine codes, and because of Elm Sigurd, we're getting 20 extra divine codes part 5. For secret seals, you can get Gold Dragons and Wily Fighter. The reward unit will be Halloween Yarne. You can get a 4-star 5-star copy, plus we'll talk about Yarne more later on. Our first new secret seal is Gold Dragons, +4 attack and speed to dragon allies within 2 spaces during their combat. With this secret seal, we now have all 4 emblem team buffs for dragons. Not sure how many people want to run a full dragon team, but with stuff like the new armored Halloween dragon saviors, then it's okay for grouping. Ice Tribe Nils can use this if he wants to support from the back, and you can pair this with the other dragon team buffs in that C slot. Unfortunately, Gold Dragons as a C skill is pretty rare. You're going to need some 5-star units if you did want to double up. For the most part, this is an okay secret seal. You don't need to upgrade it, so just nice to have. Next up we have Wily Fighter 3. If above 25% HP and foe initiates, neutralize enemy field buffs and grant a free follow. If you aren't familiar with this armor B skill, understandable because it was only on Ascended Idun and then no one else. It's honestly a decent quick riposte skill because neutralizing field buffs is great. Even against the new Dagr who can borrow buffs from her allies, that's only to activate her effects. You're still gonna lower her attack and speed back to their original values. Now, if a field buff reliant unit can't borrow from allies, then this just hard counters their game plan. Wily Fighter is just a better quick riposte skill, so definitely worth an upgrade if you're still using the quick riposte skill for armors. For example, I was using a Hardy Fighter build with quick riposte to help recharge. I'm just going to slot in Wily Fighter now instead. Not from the Tempest Trials, but by completing the 87th Squad Assault released with this update, you can get Squad Ace CI. This is a flat stat booster for +3 attack, speed, and defense. This is the same as Squad Ace BY. We're now looping back into the triple stat booster variants without HP. It's kind of like Fury without recoil as long as you don't mind missing 1 stat.
Do you like my costume? Pause off. Okay, I'll eat the whole harvest, grow extra strong, and kiss extinction goodbye!
The reward unit for this Tempest Trials is Halloween Yarne, yet another unit with a second heroic rail version. I still don't understand the logic of doing this when we have so many characters in the franchise. I can only assume at this point it's just the devs want to do an easy +10 project for themselves or something, cause I don't know, man. Now as a unit, Halloween Yarne will be a Red Beast Cavalier. His OG version is green, while his New Year's ult is blue. Now we wait for that colorless ult. For stats, Yarne has 40 HP, 47 attack, 45 speed, 36 defense, and 21 res. Nice speed and defense super boons. Beast Cavaliers are pretty much one-trick ponies when it comes to stats, decent to good speed, and sacrificing res. We only have 2 other non-5-star Beast Cavaliers, so by default, this newest Yarne should just be the best new free-to-play pick. This will be further emphasized with his unique full rabbit fang. Halloween Yarne deviates from the Times Pulse effect the banner units have, but he has different ways to alter cooldown. First off, this weapon gives near trace Kanto, it grants a flat +3 speed, and is effective against enemy cavaliers. Every turn, if Yarne is next to one or fewer human allies, or he is transforming, they grant -1 cooldown. For combat, you got the same condition. Yarne can get bonus stats up to 5 plus the number of foes within 3 rows or 3 columns times 3. If 3 enemies are in the range, then Yarne can get +14 to all stats. In addition, Yarne deals true damage equal to 20% speed, he has full no follow-up effects, and after combat, if Yarne has less than 90% HP, he gets -2 cooldown. Halloween Yarne is just a straight upgrade over his 2 previous ults and his OG refine. The +3 speed, cav effectiveness, and after combat, -2 cooldown are shared effects, but now he has built-in Kanto to run away without Gale Force, and Yarne gets -1 cooldown each turn to help charge Gale Force initially. He may not have slaying, but like Halloween Yarne, as long as you meet his conditions, Yarne can gain -1 cooldown every single turn. While he still has Gale Force in his kit, this Yarne is a much better fighter than before. +14 to all stats, full no follow-up, and more true damage. The main issue that will still persist is needing to be under 90% HP for the after combat cooldown. Yarne has to take hits without dying, or you need to bring out the Fury type self-recoil skills. Now after combat, healing also messes him up because the healing occurs before the cooldown effect kicks in. For the rest of his kit, Yarne has Gale Force, which his kit helps charge up. He has Rouse Speed and Defense 3 at 4 stars if you want self-boss while solo. Yarne then brings a very neat Beast skill to the Heroic Rail pool. Beast Sense 3 gets rid of the transformation requirement for all Beast units. This means Yarne activates his weapon all the time. In addition, Beast Sense is the 30% dodge option. If you have 10 or more speed than the foe, you get 30% damage reduction. This is the first time one of these Beast skills have appeared in the free-to-play pool. We have the Beast Sacred Seal, but this one adds 30% dodge if you don't have anything else to run. Beast Sense also has only ever been on Rearmed Aider, who has the tier 4 as well. Yarne can help inherit the tier 4 with Arcane Nihility, and that weapon shares a good bit of effects with full Rabid Fang too. If you plan to merge up Yarne, the Neutral Nature adds +1 HP, attack, and speed. That's fine to keep, and his weapon gives +3 flat speed as well. If you want more though, then Speed Super Boon is nice, or 4 more defense can help tank hits. In terms of free-to-play Beast units, the roster is pretty slim. Just like in Awakening, for free-to-play Beast Cavaliers, your only choices are Pan, Yarne, and Yarne again. Halloween Yarne is the only red Beast Cav who isn't a 5-star, and he's only the second free-to-play red Beast unit in general. If you want some color diversity, then this new ult is all we got. Stat-wise, Halloween Yarne is just better than his most recent self in terms of offensive stats. He sacrifices some bulk, but not a huge difference. One thing to note is that New Year's Yarne missed the cutoff for the updated Cavalry Beast transformation bonus. Halloween Yarne can get extra attack and defense debuffs, and 30% damage reduction if he or the enemy moves 2 spaces. For general playstyle, Halloween Yarne has the basic no fall plus dodge % DR setup. He's naturally fast, can get a good amount of stats, and even adds 20% speed as true damage. Beast Sense is nice because it guarantees Yarne transforms, which guarantees his weapon fully activates. Normally, if not next to a Beast ally, Yarne can still get his -1 cooldown. However, in battle, transforming can give Yarne extra DR and debuffs. Now, assuming Yarne survives combat, if he's under 90% HP, he can get that -2 cooldown. The idea being, Yarne can activate Gale Force to either attack again or retreat. With his at start of turn cooldown, Yarne still needs to get 2 cooldown charges in battle. This is susceptible to guard effects, although Heavy Blade with a double should be enough still. This is assuming Yarne fights immediately. If you were to wait 2 or 3 turns, he can passively gain that cooldown. In terms of combat, when transformed, moving 2 spaces and outspeeding by 10 or more, Yarne can stack up to around 50% damage reduction. You could run skills such as Desperation or Wind and Water Sweep to avoid getting hit. Since he has full no follow-up, as long as Yarne outspeeds, he's going to double with those skills. The self-inflict damage, Fury 3's 6 recoil will hit 90% HP up until 60 max HP. Of course, if you wanted to set up Wings of Mercy type tactics, then you may be using Double Fury anyway. For other skills, any combination of Catch, Clash, and Solos will work in A slot and Sacred Seal slot. Guard is nice to avoid big specials, and you could swap to other C skills if you don't want to be solo every time to proc Rouse. For specials, Yarne can pre-charge damage specials if you wait long enough. With units like Halloween Asker and Na, you won't have to wait as long, and Yarne may be able to recharge after combat for later fights. For premium skills, Yarne can upgrade to Beast Sense 4 from Aider. She also has Alarm Attack and Speed, but Yarne has built-in Near Trace, so Insight would be the better self-buffing option. When it comes to Gale Force, Yarne can pick up some cooldown skills such as Beast Threaten or Attack and Speed Wild. Wild for breadth of cooldown is really good, but it heals 7 HP after combat, making it sort of anti-synergistic with full Rabid Fang. This applies to other defensive options like Excel and just percent Yarne in general. If Yarne takes no damage, you ain't gonna get the -2 cooldown unless you run Fury. You could just decide to not depend on this effect though. For example, with something like Sturdy Beast, Yarne can get his -1 cooldown each turn. If you run another cooldown skill, he can proc the special in combat, and if he does end up hurt, you can use the -2 cooldown for later. Without Emblem Art's Ring for slaying, it's kinda tough to do any kind of consistent special looping in back-to-back fights, but for just player phase to player phase, full Rabbit Fang is fine enough. Yarne may hold on to his Gale Force niche, but he's not really going to do anything most other generic Gale Forces can't do. He's not like Golvik or Edelgard who can use actual damage specials while receiving extra actions, and then there's guys like Brave Felix with his own brand of extra action stupidity. Now, full Rabbit Fang's cooldown does make it interesting for other special choices. For example, Momentum has given another cooldown option to Cavaliers. Yarne can use Fierce Beast for DR Piercing, and it's on a low 2 cooldown, so Momentum could even help counter Scal effects. To double proc Fierce Beast, you can use Attack and Speed Wild or go for stuff like Flared or Surge Sparrow. If you want to try an Area Effects special, you can use Beast Threaten to get the AoE to 2 cooldown each turn. Momentum can take care of the rest if Yarne moves 3 spaces, or you can just wait another turn. You'll probably want flat attack boosters for the AoE build, and if possible, Emblem Sigurd's Ring also just makes things much safer. His Kanto 3 will let Yarne retreat much further. For some of those other skills, Beast Assault is the 50% DR piercing option for Beasts. That could be better with, say, Sturdy Beast or Gale Force if you want more damage. Assassin Strike can stack true damage. Odd Defense Wave 4 can give tempo, which would be really nice for any of these builds. However, it requires a defense check. Generally speaking, the units who are running guard are the tankier ones, so Yarne may not be able to win that check unless you run more defense boosting skills. For tune skills, Guard Echo's okay from the limited choices. Wings of Mercy Echo can be good with momentum for surprise attacks, or maybe to just help follow up on other Gale Force teammates. Overall, decent enough Tempest Trials. Gold Dragons is alright as a seal if you have multiple dragons on a team and you don't need to upgrade it. As for Wily Fighter, this just replaces Quicker Post for the army units who were still using it. Halloween Yarne is a pretty solid heroic Grail unit. He's the only free-to-play Red Beast Cavalier, and he also looks amazing if you compare him with the free-to-play Sword Cavaliers. He's much faster than Kent, who himself was much faster than everyone else. Yarne then has 10 more base attack than Kent, so yeah. If you need red physical damage with 3 movement, it's tough to beat Yarne among the non-5 stars. Having Kanto, no follow-up, and some cooldown perks provide a lot of ways to build Yarne too. He has access to some fun beast skills, although those are pretty rare. Speaking of which, Free Beast Sense 3 is awesome. Dodge isn't the craziest thing nowadays, but letting Yarne transform guaranteed does make things easier. Not a bad seasonal ult by any means. That's all I got for this video. Have fun with Yarne and go get those rewards, especially if you want that new Dagr. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.